today at the workshop we've got a bit of spare time before the next show, so we've got Georgina's old bike that we played around with a long time ago. So we extended the front forks, we put the seat post behind the seat. She's outgrown it, so let's make it a little bit bigger. Okay, so the bike is upside down, you can see that. So let's start thinking what we're going to do. I think we need to get this around here somewhere, and then we can change the seat from back there and have the seat really low in there so you can stretch your legs out, stretch this tube out really long, and then we can make some really long forks for it. Gonna have to extend the chain, but we lose all this bit of the back. So let's start taking it apart. So the bike is stripped. So this is what we done last time. We just welded the seat onto here and covered in where the seat post would have been, and then put the really long forks in it. So this time, Georgina, this is all Georgina's design. So she wants to put the seat back down in front of the wheel now, and then extend the chassis further up, and then put the longer forks in here, and then have to have some sweet back handlebars. So let's start chopping it up. So the only bit of this we're using is that piece. We probably won't use any more of this. Now all we got to do now is clean this up and then take the crank bit, the pedal bit, and then we can put a new piece of metal in there, and then we can join into this piece at the top. So you probably can't hear me because the compressor's on, but that's all the welding finished on the first part. Now we've got to start making up the rest of it. Now this isn't my idea at all. This is all Georgina's idea. This is her old bike, and she wants to make it really long. Now, I thought we was going to have that bar level. No, she wants this top bar level, and you really want it that long?
Yeah.
Let's put it on a bit of wide thing.
Put it on wide angle.
I think we're going to have to put it on wide angle. So we're going to make the bike that long at the bottom.
I'm not sure how long this is, but it looks cool.
Yeah, and then we're going to do something with the top, and then have like a ladder system. Where's the crank going?
Back here.
About here. So where's the saddle going?
There.
Back there?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then have really long handlebars.
Really long handlebars, and then we've still got to get that into it somewhere.
Yeah, that bit happens later.
I love that. She told me that the drawing's not to scale.
Right. Should we show the drawing? That's a better idea.
Oh yeah, let's get the drawing. So, oh. Yeah, I suppose it does look what you're saying. So if that goes along there, that top one's going to be level. Oh, so yeah, so I suppose it does look like what you said it's going to look like. It is long at the bottom. I didn't think it was going to be that long. Okay.
And this is the top drawing, this one. That's what it looks like from the top.
Oh, that's what it looks like from the top. Well, the only problem is, Georgina, I don't think we've got any metal to make handlebars with. All my metal is, that's really the smallest piece of metal I've got. And all the metal we got is on the metal rack, and everything else is either massive or in square. I don't want to buy any. So let's see what happens next. Right, so what have we done since we last done a bit of videoing? So now we've mocked up the top and the bottom tubes. Now, I can't see anything from over there, Georgina. This is all Georgina's idea. I've had no input into this at all, apart from doing a bit of the fabrication. So we've notched it all around there, so we've got a nice gap. We've put this tube into my hydraulic press to make it an oval, so then it slots round the top tube. We just tacked a piece of box section into there and just adjusted it so these two are now parallel to each other, and it's all clamped to the bench so it's all nice and straight. Now, what are we doing with this end, Georgina?
Gotta put a piece.
Oh, we got, all right, so yeah, right. So we got, where's this bit going in there somewhere?
Yeah.
Well, that's too small.
Yeah.
So, all right, so we got to put a piece in, what, right from the bottom of there, or are we going to shorten this one down?
Or we could just put it sitting on top of this, and then just have it. It fits like that.
Yeah, it'd look weird with a hole in the end, though.
We would plug it up, though, wouldn't we?
I could put a fish mouth on there and then join those two together. Because what problem I've got is I haven't got a bender for this size tube. So whatever we got to do, we got to make it look cool. I reckon if we cut an angle on there and just welded those two together, and the fish mouth on this join into this tube. But we still got to work out how the fork's going on the end of this.
Well, my original plan was it to be dual channeled and it would go through the two tubes at the top, but we don't have that anymore. So
What?
I'm not sure yet.
You're not sure yet? Well, so we got this far and we don't know how we're going to put a front wheel on it. So come back once we worked it out. You're going to have to come a bit closer.
No.
All right. Sure. You should be talking about it. This is your idea.
So.
All right. So Georgina's
actually, no, you thought of this bit idea.
All right. So what the plan is now? If we can imagine that was there and that was there, we're going to join this to there, weld this tube into this one here, and then this top one ties back into the top one there.
And it will sit on top of this bar.
It will sit on top of that one, and then we sort of got a bike frame then.
Yeah, because this was like essentially the angle that was on the old version.
Yeah. So if we do that then, so we just got to get all that in there, and then we can play around with the forks afterwards. So the bike is getting bigger. Yeah. Are you pleased how it's coming out? This is all your design.
It's pretty cool.
So when you're gonna, so where's the saddle roughly gonna go then?
I want it to be here, but we ain't got long enough handlebars at the minute.
We'll sit on it. And how are you gonna pedal?
The pedals will be like here somewhere.
So you want the pedals up there somewhere?
Be like a bit like a chopper sort of setup.
Wow. Well, it does look different.
Really long wheel. I don't even know what the wheelbase is. But it's well long.
I don't think you're going to outgrow this one.
No. Unless you're Matt.
Okay, let's do some more. Got to turn the bike round so I can weld the last bit. And then that's the seat on.
We got the pedals on now. It was a little bit sketchy because it got a bit hot, and the bits that make the pedal go round didn't want to go round no more, so we had to get a kettle on it, and it cooled it down, and it's working better now, so it can actually spin. You've got to do the handlebars next. We're thinking of a pretty crazy idea. We're still not sure if we're going to do it yet, but if it does work out, it's going to look really cool.
Well, you can ride it. It's probably one of the most awkwardest things I've ever tried to ride. It's got no brakes at the minute. We've just wedged it in a gear with a cable tie. But what do you think, Georgina?
Pretty fun once it's going.
It's pretty fun once it's going, but it's trying to get it going, isn't it?
Yeah.
At the moment, it's not in a very, very low gear, so you have to scoot it a little bit to get it going. But it does look cool. I wouldn't have done the handlebars like how she's done it, because you have to get off the bike to turn it around. Yeah, the handlebars are very long, very long. But once you're up and going, it's all right. It's just trying to get there. So Oh, she's off to the main road. Bye. The look on your face then. Well, she's mastered it. I had a go at it and I was completely useless at it. It just did not suit me at all. Got a show this weekend. I didn't want to hurt myself, so I didn't ride it. So I chickened out. But yeah, so there's a few more things we've got to do with it, but we're getting there. Okay, so we finished the Walsingham show at Truckfest and we're back in the workshop, just about to go and get the monster truck unloaded. We've had a little bit of an accident at the workshop. Well, I haven't had an accident. One of my neighbours, they hit the side of the building and took the building out with one of their scaffolding lorries. They're on the case and they're trying to get it fixed today because we want to get it secured for tonight. But yeah, so it broke the panel and it's cracked the roof, so we're going to try and get that fixed today. So we've got Swamp Thing out of the trailer, it's all parked up, and we have temporary repaired the sides. So these aren't the right, see they're not the right colour or nothing, but at least we haven't got a gaping hole. Still got a hole in the roof, that's going to get fixed tomorrow. We've got the roofing guys coming out tomorrow and these panels are on order. So things happen, just got to get on with it. But yeah, so Swamp Thing's out. Got to do a few little bits and bobs to it this week. So just realised on the bedside, we're going to have to make a new tailgate. The tailgate is really heavy at the moment and it's broken. Started to break through here. So we're going to take this off before it snaps and put some new fiberglass inside and strengthen that up. So we got to do that. Also, we're going to move the fans. We're going to put the fans from here onto the back of the radiator, even though I didn't want to do it because it makes it hard to get to the bolts. We're going to put some foam, order some foam, and put some foam in the tank to stop the fuel sloshing about in there. We're having a lot of problems with fuel surging. The old fuel tank I used to have, it had a swirl pot in the bottom of it, but we can't put it in that one. It doesn't fit through the hole in the top. Even if I took the top off, where the inspection hole is, it won't fit through the hole, so I can't do that. So we have to fill the tank with foam. Now we've had foam on test because the supplier didn't know whether some of the foams would take this concentration of methanol, and now we know which one we're on. We've had them on soaking in there for 3 weeks now, and the results are really good. So yes, we've got that to do. I'm going to redo this broke in the show. So this is normally mounted on the back of the pump, but it broke off the pump, so I've got to hold on with Jubilee clips in a minute. So it's nice and firm. It isn't going to come loose, but the lines are really long on it at the minute. Yeah, there's grass absolutely everywhere, so we've got to clean all that out. As you can see, it's all stuck to the top of the supercharger. It'll be all stuck down in, look, all the grass is stuck down in there. Yeah, so yeah, ow, just bang my head. I'm always banging my head on this thing. Yeah, so let's just get the trailer loaded back up, get that back in the workshop, and then we can do some work. So we've got the bedside and the tailgate off, and now we're just going to clean out all the grass that's in everywhere. And then we can take the fuel tank out so we can get to the radiator. We'll probably have to drain the radiator system as well, so then we can do bits on that. And also when we're going around doing the checks, found out we got a little crack in there, so we're going to need to fix that. But it's a perfect time because we're taking the fuel tank out, we're taking probably taking the radiator out, so we can get to all that really easy in a minute. Where the distributor is. And then all up in where all the supercharger is. So keep going, look, you can see where all the grass is going. It's the compressors, come on again. So there is everything disconnected. So we've got the fuel tank out, we take that out now, and then the reason for we do it like this is the last thing of the day we're doing. So we took the fuel tank out, you do spill some fuel when you're doing it. Then we wash everything down. We've disconnected the radiator, so the radiator is disconnected, so we've washed all the antifreeze out of that. So that can come out tomorrow. So we can do all of that tomorrow when everything is dried up. So that's why we do it like this, so we don't add any fires. So yeah, come in back in the morning and we can crack right back on with it again. So I've been getting on with moving the fans. So the fans were on here, and what I was finding, as we weren't getting enough airflow, the fans, I originally had them trying to push through the radiator, and the fans actually suck better. They suck better than they blow. That sounds weird. Yeah, so now I'm mounting the fans onto the back of the radiator. So what I've done at the minute is I've just welded the little mounts on here, and then bolted the radiator up higher. And so I've done that all the way. So it's got the 3 mountings across the top. And all I've got to do now is work out how I'm going to mount the bottom. So my thinking is I've got a hole here already. I'm going to make a little bracket to come up and hold there. It'd have a captive button head bolt going that way, so it doesn't touch the radiator, so it's coming this way. And I can just bolt those 2 pieces together and do the same on the other side. And that should be enough to hold that all in place, because it's going to be in there quite tight. Going to have to redo how the header tank for the power steering is done, because that comes up through there. I might have enough clearance through here behind this, but we'd have to find out in a minute. But yeah, it's coming on fairly neat. And then of course, once that's all done, I can cover everything up, and then we can go about fixing this crack up in here, which is going to have to grind out. We do get the odd cracks in the chassis now and again, we just have to keep an eye on them. But yeah, so that's the radiator fans going in behind the radiator to try and keep the swamp thing running a bit cooler. So what I did last time was I just reversed the rotation of the fans, and I was actually sucking the air through the radiator that way. But that problem is when you're driving it forwards, it's not getting any airflow, because you've got the fans blowing that way and air coming this way, and they cancel each other out. So this is the solution. So that is the radiator mounted in there now. So that's the 2 little brackets that hold it at the bottom, and it's all done by the ones that hold it at the top. So we've mounted the fans as high as we can get it onto the radiator, because the fuel tank sits in here about up to there. So we want as much flow as we can coming out. So this is how the fans used to be mounted on the truck before, and it used to work all right. So I think this should be good, because the radiator is bigger, it's thicker. Yeah, and they're pulling the air through the radiator. So by that time the air's already gone. There's quite a bit of gap here between where the fuel tank sits in there. So yeah, so that bit's done. Just got to take it out now and paint the top piece where I've had to weld all the top piece onto it. Then we can cover everything up, and then we can fix where this crack is up on this top tube here. So we're getting ready to get in here and then grind this crack out. So we're going to get in here with a die grinder, so we cover everything up. So this is a welding blanket, so it's a fiberglass blanket sheet. So when we do welding, nothing will go through it. So yeah, we just got to get in there with a die grinder now. It's only cracked on this one side here, so we just got in there and clean it up, and then we can get in the welder and weld it all back up. So with all the paint removed, it doesn't actually look that bad, the crack. The crack is just along here, and it actually stops there. It doesn't go any further than that. It's just what we could see was the rust that was coming out of this was just running down here. So we just got to go in there. So I've gone all the way back in now with the die grinder, took all the weld out completely, and yeah, just got to weld this little piece back up. So there it is welded, so it's still really hot. So I put one weld down there and another weld there just to make sure the weld is nice and wide. It's turned up really high, the welder. So just got to go in there now and just sand all the little bits off, and then we can repaint it. But that is that one fixed. So there it is, all painted, just brushed over, went in there with a sander, just took those little bubbles off, no more crack, good to go. All what we've got left to do now is we're just cutting off the connectors and changing them round because the fans will spin the wrong way. So let you show the difference. So this one I've spun round. Let's connect these, and the other ones are connected how it was connected, and what we got to do. So at the moment, I've spun the rotation round on this fan, and the other one on the other side hasn't been done. So if you get the bit of paper, that now is sucking air through the radiator. But on the other side, it blows it away from it. So we've got to spin the rotation on that one to make it the same as this one. We want it to suck the paper through the radiator. After we done that, that's it all done. Got all the hoses on, the header tanks on. Then we can put the fuel tank back in. That one sucks it in. On the other side, sucks it in. So now we've got the airflow going through the radiator, out the back of the truck, in the direction the truck is going. Yeah! Okay, so today we're going to be working on the bedside. So the bedside, it's got this crack started here. It isn't that thick on this piece. So we're going to make this flange a lot stronger. So what we're going to do to stop messing up the back side of this, we're going to put some putty in there. And where the crack is, we're going to hot glue the cracks and nothing can run through it because we don't want to mess up the wrapped side. But we're going to sand all this up as well so we can get the fiberglass to stick. So let's get this all sanded up first. So I've just been using the hot glue gun, just used the hot glue gun just to put the glue into this. And it's quite good. If you're using the hot glue gun and you get the panel in the wrong place, just get the hot air gun and you can move the glue around and then it'll set again and it's all ready to go. All the fiberglass is all cut out. Just use a nice pair of shears. So while that's drying, let's make up some resin to laminate this all back together. So I'm just mixing up the resin. So we've just got about half a litre. Won't even use all of this. It's just when I'm pouring out of a 205 litre barrel, it comes out quite quick. So I'm just going to mix that up. But you've got to make sure you mix it really well. And that'll be it done. Doesn't take very long to do the repair. Drop that back in the bucket of acetone. First thing we're going to do is just get the resin and just brush it all over the area where we're going to laminate. Just realised there's an extra hole there I've got to fill in, so I'm just going to get some putty and put that in there quickly. So that's that done. Covered up the hole off of mist. Don't need too many tools. Just paintbrush, a roller, a pot to put the resin in, and some acetone to clean the stuff up afterwards, and that's it. Then we get this piece in there. That's going to be nice. So you get it right near the edge. A little tear into this corner. There you go. Dab that all the way there. Pull it up a little bit. And then what I do is I fold that down, especially on the first one. You want to make sure this first one sticks, so we want to put quite a bit of resin on the first one. And then we can fold that piece back up now. And we dab all this down. And because we want to make sure it sticks, we're going to do the same on this one. Fold the edge over. This is so you know the resin's gone all the way through the fiberglass mat. Down, back down. And that's one layer down. I'll just get the roller now. And the roller is we're squeezing the resin through the fiberglass. So we're getting all the air out. So we get a nice strong bond. And that's out there. It's just the same, just keep repeating it. So we're just going to carry on doing it. So the next one I've cut slightly different. So we're going to make it so it overlaps a little bit different. So we're not always in the same place. So this one's going to go more on the top. So just get my brush. Put it in. Line it up to the top. Yeah. And dab away. So if you come back in a minute, this will all be finished. Okay, so it's the next day. We left it to dry overnight and that is the repair done. Just give it a little sand over with a bit of 40 grit sandpaper just to go around the edge. And all we got to do now is just to re-drill the holes where we put the putty in. So there's a hole in there and 2 holes up in there. And that's it done. So that's going to be all fixed. The reason why it's cracking, the tailgate is too heavy. So we're going to have to make another tailgate and then get that wrapped. And that will stop the problem. It's my fault. I gave Georgina the pot and I said, just make a tailgate. And she filled the pot to the top and I just kept on using the resin until it was all gone. Yeah, so the tailgate is a lot heavier than when I normally make it. But that's all right. It's never going to break. But yeah, so let's get on with doing some more checks on the truck. So it's all back together. So we got the bedside all mounted on, drilled the holes, fitted that. So that is it all back on the truck. Also now all the fuel tank is all back in. Everything's all dry where we repainted it. So that's all good. Gone around the rest of the truck, done all its normal checks. It's had its engine service, so it's had an oil change and everything on that with, of course, Lucas oil. New set of spark plugs in it this time. Cleaned all the injectors out, so they're all ready to go. Just gone around the truck, cleaning it up, making it nice and pretty because we're going off to American Speed Fest, which is powered by Lucas Oil. So yes, we've got to get it looking all really nice and shiny because we've got a pit party before. We're doing 4 shows a day there. 4 shows a day we're doing a Brands Hatch for American Speed Fest. And we want one thing to look its best. So I thought I was going to get away without having to make a tailgate because I found another one here. But the holes turn out they're not in the same place as the other one. This one I made in a hurry for when we did the Ken Block video. So this is the tailgate off of Ken Block's truck when we did that thing. So they said they couldn't have it with the Swamp Thing bodywork on it. It had to be a neutral bodywork. So we made some bodywork for it and I threw it on really quickly. And yeah, so that's why in the video of Ken Block versus Idris Elba, that's why it's that matte black. So we didn't have to wrap it or anything. They just put the colour straight on top of it. So we're just going to polish this quickly. And then just make a really, really fairly thin tailgate, like we normally did. Georgina was holding the camera. I gave her the pot and she just filled the pot up to the top and then just kept on going where it doesn't need to be quite that thick. So what we do is we put 2 layers all the way over and then just reinforce where it's fixed. I think, how many layers did you do, darling?
What, of gel coat?
How many layers of gel coat was it as well? Was it 2 or 3 layers of gel coat?
That's enough.
Enough, yeah. So yes,
it didn't break, it just broke everything around it.
Yeah, it's about twice the weight it should be. So let's make a normal tailgate. I didn't think it would actually damage the truck as much as it is. I couldn't believe it when I picked it up how heavy it was. So let's just make another one nice and quickly and then we can get that one wrapped by VK Graphics. Okay, so it's the next day. So I've got the panel out the mould, just trimmed off the edge. So what I'm going to do now before we wrap it is just going to go over and sand the bodywork lightly with some wet and dry, and then polish up just to make sure there's no imperfections in it, because the chrome wrap will show up the imperfections. So just going to sand it over now and polish it up, and we'll get back to you in a minute. So just doing the very last little bits. I've just done all the fuel, and at the moment the truck's on charge, making sure the batteries are fully charged. Next thing to do, you might have noticed something's missing. My lorry is in for a service. They've just phoned me up. So Wiltshire Commercials, they look after my Scania for me. So I've just got to go and pick it up now, and we can bring it back, and then I can hook it up, pull the trailer out, and then load it up, and then get ready for the show. Okay, so there is the panel all finished, all polished up. Next thing to do is drop it off at VK Graphics so they can put the chrome wrap on it and the 20th anniversary. But that's it for this video. Next stop, we're off to American Speedfest at Brands Hatch, powered by Lucas Oil, for their 10th anniversary. So it's 10 years of American Speedfest. Thanks for watching, guys, and stay tuned for more videos. Bye-bye.